Hi again then guys, and welcome to another build which we haven't covered in a few weeks, a special projects replica tune, and this is actually a revisited build that we did back on Gran Turismo 6, but now in some ways we can actually make it more accurate. For one thing, you can make the visuals a little bit closer, because although of course we can't upgrade the bodywork itself, you can manipulate what the bodywork looks like through the decal editor, through the livery editor. That's what I've done in the case of this car. Now I'm putting the livery that I've used in two forms, one in blue and one in red, on my community page. So use the keywords HSG or FQ400 for instance to find it. You can get both of them from my page, as I said. So for that side of things, you could do it yourself, you could download somebody else's if there is one, or you could go for mine. So you've got options there. And then as far as the tune, well, of course, that's what's next. So we'll jump into the tuning side of things, and then as we always do, we'll finally take it out on a track to see what it can do. Now, as far as the upgrades go on this particular replica, you will need to do a stage 2 upgrade for power. You don't need to upgrade the weight though, because you need to increase the weight to 1560 kilos, which is the quoted weight of the FQ400, and then you want to put it on 130% power, which again brings us up to the exact power, according to Mitsubishi at least, in their official press release, of 403 horsepower. Now traction control, I would strongly recommend turning off. It's got so much grip that you really just don't need it. As far as the tyres, I've got it on sport softs. Of course that's down to you, depending on if you want it to be more challenging or just really over the top in terms of grip and handling, with race tyres for instance. As far as the ride height, again, we are running it accurately to the real car. The real car is 30mm lower at the front than the standard Evo 10, 25mm lower at the back, so that's exactly what we've done. Thankfully, you can actually go down by 30. That is the exact lowest height at the front, and as far as the back, you want to drop it to 95mm. As far as the frequency on the suspension, we've stiffened that up to 1.8. Anti-roll we've also stiffened up to 7 and 6, with the compression aspect of the dampers up to 63, the rebound to 92. I'm running no camber or toe. Again, as usual, you could change that if you wanted to, but you don't really need it. As far as the diff, I've opted to leave it with the active yaw control. You could fit the race diff if you want to, so I wouldn't say necessarily don't do that, it's just not altogether necessary. As far as the controller itself, I've got it on the highest possible setting. You don't have to do that, of course it's down to personal preference, so I'd recommend changing that around, put it on say 100 or as low as it can go even, to see which you prefer. As far as the transmission, it's very simple because you don't need to do a thing. At least according to the specs that I could find, it seems that it uses the same ratios as the standard car. So that may be wrong, but at least as far as I could find, that seems to be the case. The same 5-speed ratios. So that's it for the tune. It's actually a very simple one, especially if you download it with the livery that I've done. Pretty quick and easy actually, one of the easiest replicas to do. So all that remains is to take it out on a circuit to see if it feels like the legend that it is. Now unfortunately, of course, unlike on Gran Turismo 6, we can't upgrade bodywork or wings or anything like that on this game, at least not at the moment, and that is a shame, because of course the FQ400 does have the more aggressive, more, well, pumped up looking body kit that it has, the single central exhaust as well, and of course you can't do anything about that. So we've gone as close as you reasonably can. It would be funny now if we ended up getting an actual FQ400 in the game. That would render this kind of moot. But for now at least, it gives you some idea of how it could feel if it is in the game. You could use this for competition if you wanted to. You might want to make some changes if you do, drop the weight for instance, but if you want to keep it accurate to real life, give it a go, see what you think of the car, and of course have a lot of fun with it if you are a fan of the FQ400. But that's it for this special project replica build. Of course, if you did enjoy the concept of this one, you can check out more that I've done, like replicas of the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, for instance, and a couple of others too, by clicking through to the playlist at the end. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.